Okay, we're going to get started in a few minutes here. Welcome everybody to the live stream. My name is Rich and I'm the co-founder of RPS AI. We're a team based out here in San Francisco on the West Coast. And we're really focused on highlighting some underrated and key projects in Solana space when it comes to on the LP side, token side, and as well as really interesting builds that are going on right now. With today, we have a very special guest, Yash, who's the founder of Send, and deeply respect this guy for very much kind of his conviction in doing the right thing in crypto projects. You know, there's a lot of speculation going on, and you know, he's really kind of sticking to a couple of key rules, hard and fast, and that's really has been part of his strategy for success. And we're going to go over the past, present, and future of Send with the founder today, and then go over some updates on our side. Now, I know that, you know, for our chats, we always kind of like to focus on the DeFi perspective, or how the token economics, or is it the liquidity provisioning side of things. And so we might dip our toes into that side as well, but also kind of understand what it's like from a founder's perspective, because you usually don't. When you hear about founders, they were generally just kind of talking about the project in general. But, you know, Yash is a founder that's also very capable on the liquidity provision side, and he understands his token really, really well. So I think for our context, that would be a really important perspective to also bring. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce Yash. Hey, Yash, how you doing?
Yeah, hi, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, man. It's good to have you. I know we've been playing kind of telephone tag back and forth. Glad that you were able to finally find the time. How's everything going these days?
Yeah, it's been going good, I think. Yeah, like it's just like building stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
it has been a bit silent, but I think overall we are doing great internally.
I know that you guys have had kind of quite a rocky last couple of weeks, and you've been very resilient and the community has been very resilient as well. How is that coming? How are you finding that?
Yeah, I think that has been really great. In general, like we have been doing pretty well. So like even on the community side, I would say, of course, the price action and everything in general from the markets hasn't been like that great. Like I think we had a good ride in the first part of the July, but I think like the entire thing was washed down at the end of the July. And I think like I've seen so many of my friends like who are trading, and they like round trip the whole like gains as well. So I think like yeah,
Yeah.
in general, the price action would like has been like quite sideways for the entire Solana ecosystem coins. So that has been the case in general, I feel. And I think like Launchpad is currently the only meta which has been going on, and any memes which are being launched on Launchpad. So yeah, apart from that, I think like there's very less meta or like fresh narrative in the market. So I think like market definitely needs a fresh narrative to make sure that we go from here. And the same thing applies for Send as well, just because Send is an alt in the Solana ecosystem. So I think yeah, but yeah, I think overall it has been a bit tough as well. Like we had like our Twitter account suspended. We're still working with X, but I think
Yeah.
like hopefully that would be resolved soon. And apart from that, I think like things like internally we have been very resilient and still building a lot of things, and will continue to building. I think just like a few strategy here and there will change, but apart from that, nothing much changes. Apart from yeah, more on the communication side.
It would be good to get some context as to your background and how you came to start Send.
Sure. So I think Send was started back in July last year, so it has been 1 year now. And so started
Congrats.
kind of we launched like we were one of the few teams who did a fair launch on Solana. And after that, I think like in the AI hype, the whole fair launch thing was a thing that everyone was doing on. So how we started was we wanted to create a ecosystem token for Blinks. So if you remember, Solana Blinks was
Mm.
a thing. So we were like one of the leaders in the Solana Blinks, and till now, out of the top 10 Blinks which has been built, 6 has been built by Send ecosystem, and right now also the most used Blinks is by Send only. So yeah, like we were the pioneers in the Blink ecosystem. So Send was also launched during that time.
Mm.
So we created this Twitter handle and we started posting about Blinks, and we pretty much went viral. And then like our Twitter handle was called The Send Coin. So everyone thought that there would be a coin
Mm.
speculation. Then we launched the token. Obviously, like we didn't and we were completely undoxed at that time. So we like launched.
Oh.
We didn't have any advice from anyone, so we launched. We made many mistakes on the day one. That like, for example, I think one mistake was that we did airdrop after the token launch, and which made like very huge sell pressure. And another was like we didn't have any clear roadmap at that time. So these were the things that we made mistake. We launched at 50 million FDV, but over the next 3 4 months, it was like a slow down to almost $1.5 million. So I think we were
Mm.
there. We did like a lot of experiments in Blinks. I think most of them were failed experiments. Of course, like some of them went viral as well. And till now, mostly Blinks has been revenue generating for us. And we spun out a arm of ours called Send Arcade, which became the gaming arm of Send. So that has been completely profitable, and
Oh.
it has generated like like on the ARR side, it is generating around 300 to 400k dollars in ARR. So it has been decently profitable gaming studio. Now they are building a lot of things on the infra side as well. So I think like Send Arcade has been like the first startup to come out of Send ecosystem, and obviously Send is the only token for Send Arcade. And then in November, what we did was the whole AI meta was going on, and I was pretty much interested in that. And one thing I noticed was that every AI action was happening mostly on base. And the simple reason being that Coinbase was focusing a lot on AI. They built
Mm.
this like agent kit using base and so on. So we thought that how could we bring that to Solana? So I started thinking of like why not organize a Solana AI hackathon. So that's how even Sandy was born. So we first thought of a Solana AI hackathon that okay, like how can we bring the AI agents hype to Solana? And
Mm.
there was already some early glimpse. Like for example, Goat was a Solana token. AI16Z was a Solana token. So we like with the help of Goats, AI16Z, Jupiter, Meteora, Jito, Helios, all big Solana players, we organized the Solana AI hackathon, and Sandia became the host of it. Then we also launched Solana Agent Kit, and that was like a pivotal moment because yeah, we so during the AI hackathon, like when we announced Solana AI hackathon, that was announced from Solana handle. So obviously we were pushed from $1.5 million to around $10 to $12 million, but with Agent Kit we were pushed to $140 million. I think like that taught me a lot about even liquidity as well. That
Yeah.
because since we didn't have any market makers, and we have been zero market makers from day one, and I would say that has been both pros and cons. On the pros is that like we aren't reliant on anyone, or basically like if market makers doesn't feel anything is right, they would straight away insta dump. So I think like that hasn't been the case for us. But the cons is that all the price actions are pretty much violent. That they go anywhere because there's no one to mitigate those instant buy pressure or sell pressures. So I think like there's like pros and cons for both, but we have been strategically zero market makers. So I think like that time, like we were pumped a lot, and that brought attention back to the token. And I think like Send as a token like got a second life.
Mm.
And like yeah, we have been always been like building for the Send token, and still we are building for the same. But of course, like with just like all AI tokens went to 95% drawdown, we were also part of that, and we are again now pushed to $8 million. So yeah, hopefully we get a third life pretty much soon. So I think like that's the thing. But in general, I realize that any tokens in general are very much attention based. That if they have the attention, they will like pump a lot. And that we saw at that time that agent kit, like we became like the infra AI play. So we automatically had the attention, and we have been very close with Solana labs and foundation. So that's why like we were basically a token for people to bid on the Solana AI space. So I think in general, my learnings has been that everything is very much driven by attention, on how much attention you can gain from Meta. For example, something like Bong, GP are getting all the bids, or were getting all the bids because of the Launchpad thing, and now like all the Launchpad coins are going good because the Launchpads are the Meta. Or in general, I
Mm.
think like since market doesn't have a very concrete tech meta, so that everyone is like right now just bidding on memes. So if you see like there's no tech coin which is pumping right now, and there's
Mm.
no tech coin which is doing well. So I think it's all memes which are doing well, and only the platform tokens which have fees embedded on the launchpads part. So something like GP, Bonk, and so on. So I think, yeah, it's all a meta game, particularly on the token side of things. And good thing is like we have been fairly revenue generating from whatever products we have been building. For example, we also have our own launchpad, which we haven't launched it fully, Sendshot, but that has been revenue generating. All our games are revenue generating. So whatever front end we do, we have been fairly revenue generating. So that way we aren't dependent on like what the price action of the token happens. Token for us is like basically getting amplified attention and also like giving back to the community and all of that. And also it's like a way to align everyone in the team as well as with the community, that you can have like team members who have been allocated tokens, so that way they are aligned to something. So I think in general, token or equity is a way to align all the shareholders, team members, and anyone. So basically having the financial aligned. But any token has a price action just because of attention, and I think like attention is pretty scarce. And we have a strong thesis called attention capital markets. That is like basically everything is like based on attention, and whatever we are building in crypto right now is like based on attention capital markets. It's like basically a subset of internet capital markets, because internet capital markets also tells that you can tokenize stocks, RWAs, or anything. But attention capital market is all about how can you tokenize attention. It can be anything tech, it can be anything meme, or for example, AI agent had all the attention, so that's why like those coins were getting beated a lot. So yeah, overall that has been our journey so far. Of course, like after Sendia, we also launched Solana App Kit and has been building a lot of games on the Send Kit side. Till now, yeah, we have had like around 70-80K users in Send Kit. We have our own roll up on Solana as well for one of our games, and we'll be building a lot of things on the gaming infra side. So yeah, a lot of infra and also consumer applications are getting built within the Send ecosystem right now.
Wow, that's quite a bit. How do you
Yeah.
manage all of this in your 24 hours a day?
Yeah, so I think like fortunately we have been well divided into 2-3 teams internally, so that way like every team keeps working independently on those things. And in general, our approach has been like building an ecosystem. So yeah, like it's our pros as well as cons. In cons is that like we don't get to focus on one big thing, but that is something that we are actively working on. How do we aggregate everything? But the yeah, but on the flip side, we also get to work on a lot of things, and we are kind of meta independent. That like whatever happens, since we have an ecosystem of products, there will always obviously be some products which become like the face of that meta. So yeah, like it has both pros and cons.
With our audience here, we're very kind of focused on liquidity, on the tokens, the economic side of things. And it sounded like you're very focused on revenue right now. How does that revenue translate into the token?
Yeah, so we've already done few buybacks, but again, like that has been very small scale, and that hasn't been like very much well defined. Or even we didn't convey it to public yet. But how we are going to do is like either do like revenue buybacks. Burn is something like I'm still not sure whether to do it or not, because burns make sense for something like completely a meme coin, but something like a project-based token, I think like but when you're burning, you are also burning like kind of your equity, because here tokens equals to equity. We don't have any equity value as such, like everything is like token value only. So I think in general, like we would like to conserve the token so that in future we could use it from a longer term horizon. So maybe like we do buyback and then we distribute to stakers via staking. So buyback and staking can be one mechanism. So we are still thinking on what's the best mechanism here. And I think like we still don't have like very huge revenues at scale where we could make an impact, like make a huge impact on token. Obviously, we can move tokens a bit via this, but I think we'll be doing in a right manner and like whatever is the best thing. So maybe we also do buyback and LP or buyback or maybe buyback and 50% LP of buyback and 50% distributed to stakers. So that way we kind of award people who are staking, and we can provide also yield to them on the cent they are staking. So yeah, we are
Mhm.
still thinking on like what would be the best mechanism here.
Mm.
And first, like staking or just like something like maintaining a list of people who are more to the longer term is also a way to give early access to our products or all the partners airdrops. Since we are very deeply integrated into the ecosystem, people keep giving us all the NFT whitelist or airdrops and so on. Particularly in the AI meta, I think Send community got a lot of airdrops just because of that, because we have been well connected, so people wanted to give to the community. So I think that staking can be one way we distribute that to the people instead of like just awarding the top holders, we award the stakers. So yeah, still thinking on what's the best way to drive value back to the token. But for now, I think just like any company, instead of paying dividends, we are more focusing on growth. So we
Mhm.
just want to grow as much as we can instead of giving it to the shareholders, or in this case, token holders in the form of dividends. We are prioritizing growth right now.
Do you see buybacks as a form of dividend?
I think if they are distributed as well, then it's a dividend. Or it's like a kind of a proxy to the dividend, because it's like you are giving every token holders the buy pressure, or the if you are burning as well, then deflationary pressure as well. But if not, like if you are giving it as into the all the stakers in some way, then I think it's a dividend. For example, Jup is like kind of a dividend token using ASR. They have been distributed Jup, and I've been a Jup holder since day zero. And I think like ASR is the way like where they are giving it in the form of a dividend, and it's kind of quarterly as well. So I think that's like a dividend token where you are staking and getting Jup more. Again, like that has been also criticized that the Jup we are getting, like it's also like kind of a sell pressure to the market. But at the end of the day,
Mm.
if your token is worth holding, and I think like you shouldn't fear much about the sell pressure. So yeah, I think distributing via staking is like the right form of dividends in this case.
Where do you see Send in 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, in general, I think we would be heavily focusing on everything AI. Even in gaming, like we have been constantly integrating more and more AI. For example, one of our games which will be releasing by the end of this month, like that's completely built in Unity, and that would have like AI agents as NPCs in the game. So like you play there, and like you're playing with different AI agents. And one cool experiment we are also thinking is that we'll have different models agents. Like for example, Claude would be one agent, and then like GPT-5 is another agent, and so on. So they are playing against each other. So we are hinging more and more towards, okay, like how can we integrate AI more and more. Another is like another experiment we are doing on the gaming side is on the waifus part of it, that like having your own personal companion
Mhm.
with which you can play games, and also like pay like tip them to do certain actions and so on. So I think like another is like if you are able to make like if waifus are able to make you play more and more games, then we are kind of marrying two very addictive trends like gaming, and another is like AI companions, and they get more and more contextual as they keep playing. And obviously we'll be giving all the models context via all the API calls and all of that, and we are also writing our own contracts for that. So that is something that we are interested to explore on the gaming side. But the broader vision, or if you have to say like 1 year vision for the gaming part of it, it would be building something like Roblox for Solana, or Roblox on Solana, that we have like different components where you can interact with waifu, and everything you do via a single wallet. So everything is very composable across the thing. You have different games, and all the NFTs or the characters are interoperable across the games. So we are kind of dedicated towards building that. That is like Roblox on Solana, and obviously AI would play a huge role here, because AI also helps you to generate games on the fly. So I think like that would be the thing. And here we are betting on Unity as a tech stack, just because AI based games are primarily based on 3JS, but they are not that good games. But Unity games have much better physics. So hopefully AI improves a lot and we can rely completely on AI. But I think right now AI games have a lot of security bugs, particularly if you're building anything on chain. So yeah, that would be on the gaming side that we want to build a Roblox for Solana, Roblox on Solana. And on the AI side, like of course, we have our own MCP server. And once like there are a lot of MCP clients, that would be one of the huge focus because our MCP server also has inbuilt wallet. So like yeah, you have an inbuilt wallet where an agent can take a lot of different actions, including swap, LP, and then like staking and so on. So you can do like a lot of different actions via that. And another thing we are also focused is like building our own client as well. So something you can imagine as something like Perplexity Comet or something like Manus or ChatGPT for crypto. So that is something that obviously a lot of teams are trying to solve. But here we are taking a different approach. Instead of first building the front end, we are first building all the infra and vertically then just like expose it as the front end. So we also soft launch a small part of our front end as a Raycast extension. So basically, Raycast is this desktop app where you can do all the actions very quickly on your Mac app. So now, if you install our extension, you can do buy or sell everything using that like Spotlight search itself. So that was our soft launch, just to see like how people react to it and all of that. But of course, like that's not the form factor that we want to go forward. Either it would be a mobile app or it would be a web app or a combination of both. So I think form factors is something that will be getting built over the next few months and so on. But in general, we want to build very simple chat GPT for crypto. I think like a lot of teams have the similar vision as well. And then another like mobile app that we would be launching by the end of this month is Pluto, which would be focusing on perps. So think of it like just like it's like Robinhood but for perps, and we would be like building natively on Solana itself again. So yeah, that's something that we are launching more of as a consumer experiment. And of course, like perps is a lucrative market which has a good product market fit. So it also helps us generating revenue. And at the same time, mobile is something that we have taken a directional bet on, that building everything mobile native or mobile first. So this would be the primary things that we are looking forward in the next 6 to 12 months. One is gaming, another is AI, and in AI, basically anything on the AI infra side and on-chain agents and so on. And the third is the mobile part, which is the Pluto would be our first mobile app, which would be focused more on the perps. And also you can trade different meme coins and all of that, but perps would be our hero feature for that mobile app.
Which one do you have the most conviction on out of these three?
Obviously, AI would be my biggest conviction. And in general, like I would say, AI is like kind of an input for gaming as well as mobile. Gaming and mobile are different form factors, but AI is something that differentiates us as compared to any other company in Solana, I would say, and in general in crypto as well. So I think, like, yeah, we are using AI as our strategy. For example, even for our client, we believe that AI enables us to build super app much more cleaner, because you can have compress everything in a chat interface instead of relying on different navigation buttons. You can compress everything in a chat interface. So I think like in general, I'm very bullish on how we can apply AI to different components of crypto, whether be it like token launches, like something like maybe like even app coins or game coins, or something like applying to gaming where like you have different agents where you can play with those things. So I think in general, AI would be my biggest conviction. And as a org as well, we are very much focused on how do we integrate AI into different parts of crypto or different segments of crypto.
What do you think makes your team better on executing on AI compared to others? And what's your unique advantage here?
Yeah, I think like one thing is, of course, like we have now spent around 7 to 8 months in this space. Like from November, we have seen so many like crypto companies, particularly cryptocurrency AI companies, since we were the host of Solana AI Hackathon. Then a lot of people were building on Solana Agent Kit. So we saw a lot of people building on Solana Agent Kit, what works and what doesn't work. So we have already built a bunch of things on the infra side. So I think like that's our unique mode. And something like building more on the infra side, or if you are saying like vertically integrated stack, takes time, but once it gets built, like it has a very solid moat because you aren't relying on any players and you have all the vertically integrated stack. So I think that would be our moat on executing going forward, on how we are able to leverage different parts of the vertical stack that we have built, particularly on the AI side. And I would say we wouldn't have like any particular moat as that we are a very good AI team, but we are a very like we are one of the very few teams who understand crypto deeply because we have been in the Solana ecosystem for very long. Like personally, I've been in the Solana ecosystem for almost 4.5 years now, and of course, like AI is something that we have been actively following and all of that. So I think like as a combination of both, we are a pretty strong team. Of course, like as just a crypto team or just like an AI team, we are not a very strong team. But I think as a combination, we are one of the very few teams who understand how exactly crypto works. I think like AI cross crypto is all about solving problems of crypto using AI. Maybe in future we also solve problems of AI using crypto. That's the end goal or that's the bigger vision. But for now, I think like it's all about more about like how do we solve problems of crypto using AI. So yeah, I think that's how like things would progress eventually. That once you have proven that AI cross crypto works, I think then the thing would be how do you apply crypto to the whole of AI and focus on decentralizing something or just making AI more composable or introducing agentic finance to general AI audience or the rest of the world. So yeah, that's our primary focus, and I think our moat is just marrying both of these technologies.
Let's go back to maybe the Send token itself. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, when I try to have like talk to a founder, I kind of want to understand what's like happening in their heads about the token, and you know what they like, what challenges they face with the token side of things, and what they think would be the solution for those things. What do you see as Sen's biggest challenge right now, and how do you think about, you know, over surmounting it?
I think as a token, we face like few challenges. Of course, one would be on the market making or liquidity part, but I think like we have a fair amount of liquidity at this current price. So I think like that's not a huge challenge right now. Of course, more is obviously better for any token. So I think like that's like kind of the endless game. But I think in general, like with any other AI tokens, so in general, any tokens, attention is the biggest challenge. That how do you get sustained attention? And like getting in front of the right communities and also presenting yourself. Another thing is like something like sex listings, of course, help your token a lot on this parts. And but as you know, that those doesn't come free. Either you do like lot of huge volumes, which again come from attention. And if you're not getting that attention, you won't get volumes, and any sex listings would charge you a lot. So it's
Yeah.
about like, do you focus on getting those sex listing or do you focus on building the product? So it's obviously becomes a challenge on how do you prioritize between token and product. And I think like both are different parts of the game, but both are very interconnected with each other. If your token is doing well, automatically your product will go get more attention, and if your product gets more attention, your token also gets attention. So I think like it's an interconnected game. So we kind of are more focusing on product right now because we feel that if we do that well, and once we have decent amount of attention, it's just a flywheel. We saw that back in December as well, where we didn't even expect that pump would happen, but we like just released it for the sake of releasing, and we saw the things fly. So I think like once you have an attention, you get like very amplified attention in the token side of the things, particularly. So because every alpha groups and cabal groups would start selling you, and there would be different people in Telegram chats would start talking about you. Currently, the thing is like, how do we get in front of these people? How do we make sure that people have a very cohesive narrative for us to sell? So in general, tokens should be very much sellable or shareable. That's the insight that I've learned. Right now, we aren't there. I would say, of course, we were there back in December, January because they have some narrative. They had some narrative to tell. Right now, AI
Yeah.
as a narrative is not hot. So that, of course, is a done narrative, and we can't say people to buy that. Okay, buy us because it's an AI token. So I think in general, you need a very fresh narrative, or at least a narrative which people can peddle to other people. So I think that's our biggest challenge, and in general, like that's the biggest challenge of any token. How do you get attention? Because obviously, if the token gets attention, the number go up, you get good volumes, you obviously get more liquidity, you get sex listings, then you get more attention. So I think like it's a flywheel, both on upwards as well as downwards. Currently, we have been mostly in downwards flywheel. Of course, like we had smaller pumps here and there, but I think getting sustained attention is very difficult, and you need a very cohesive narrative for your token to make it sellable. And yeah, of course, not to name that cabals, market makers, and all such peoples definitely help in that part. But we have been intentionally been away from those just because we think that it's a longer term game. Even if we get those people will pump for 1 or 2 months, but after they dump, it's all again like some retail holders who would be in loss. So there's no point doing this inorganically. I feel if you're building for a longer term, if we had to build for 3 4 months, of course, like that was the more feasible part. Because yeah, you get some sustained attention for 3 4 months using those cabals and inorganic groups, and of course, like you can sell your tokens in OTC via that. But I think for the longer term, I personally feel that that's not the right strategy, and that's why we are taking more longer term product based approach right now. Very focused on product, and once we have to get attention, I think it's an upwards flywheel. Like it definitely happens. We have historically proven it twice, so I think it's just like proving it the third time.
So it sounds like you've been offered by cabals and market makers to do token things, but your response to that was like, I'm going to focus on what I think is right.
Yeah, of course. I think like lately I haven't got any offers, to be honest. But back in January, February, and like I keep getting like all the people that okay, like we'll push your token for so and so thing, and of course they are obviously attractive, like extractive. So I think, yeah, like those people keep telling. Since like personally, like obviously, my Twitter gets decent amount of attention, so yeah, these people like keep DMing me on Twitter and also Telegram. But I think yeah, it's just like best to stay away if you're building more for longer term. I think like if for shorter term, it's definitely a good strategy to follow as a rational human being, because you can get a lot of attention to your token and also to your product, and then you can also like have some OTC out of it, which helps you to fund a lot of things, or basically just helps you fund your personal things, whatever. But I think in the longer term, yeah, it doesn't help much apart from just making few holders happy. So yeah.
Do you feel like you're unique in your approach in being product and revenue first in Solana?
Obviously, I think we are not. We would be a very unique team if we have to say in all the DEX fair launch tokens or someone who has raised zero money from VC. I think we are one of the few teams who are following this approach or more of a longer term approach. But obviously, like any VC backed teams or all the bigger teams like Jupiter or even like let's say Exium or any top tokens you name. So I think like in general we have been always inspired for all this from all these bigger teams, because I saw them working in the depths of the bear market back in 2020 to 23, and like I've been very close with teams from the day zero, like from the day I entered into Solana ecosystem. So I saw these teams like when they were doing less than even $5,000 revenue per day, and now all these teams are doing more than $1 million revenues per day. So I saw this team like how they were building in the depths of bear market, and that has been our inspiration on like how we can build a longer term company or business like them. So that's why like we have been following this approach despite not backed by any VCs or any funds in general. Like we have like raised anything. We haven't raised anything from any funds or any institutional investor or VCs. So of course, like we have some announcement on that front also pretty much soon. But yeah, like we have been intentionally not raising anything just so that like we can focus on fundamentals and focus more longer term. So I feel that like yeah, we are on the trajectory of building the next Jupiter. But of course, only thing is like we launched token on day one, and it was like kind of an accidental token launch. But it's all about like getting things right in the longer term.
Sometimes really good things happen out of luck, and hopefully that's you continue on this path and find success in this. And my maybe two last questions. Like one being, what do you see as like a competitor to Send, or are you guys next to none on Solana?
As a token or as an ecosystem, we are pretty unique because we are spread across three major areas. One is mobile, another is gaming, and another is AI. Of course, like everything is very interlinked and every teams work very closely with each other. So as an ecosystem, we are pretty unique. And if we have to take a bigger comparison, it would be obviously Bonk. And Bonk was one of the inspiration which by which we started Send. That we thought that okay, we would have a token for Blink's ecosystem, and we build this Blink ecosystem, reward builders, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our main focus. And of course, like Blinks didn't take off, so we had to pivot or basically grow into something else. And I think in general we grew bigger than Blinks as well. So Bonk would be one like bigger comparison. And of course, like huge respect for Bonk in general. And I think like they have a pretty good community. So which is something that community and culture which we don't have. So I think like that's something like makes very differentiated to Bonk itself. Apart from that, Jupiter would be like a good comparison. Like Jupiter is also ecosystem of different products. Obviously, Swap is the hero product, but they have perks. Then they have now Jupiter Lend, mobile app, and so on. So Jupiter would be like a good comparison, and some teams, someone I really look up to. So Jupiter would be one. But if you have to say just on gaming, then of course like any Solana game is our competitor. And but good thing is like we are friends with a lot of people, so we don't see anyone as a competitor. And in general, market is too huge for anyone to capture, particularly on the gaming side of the things. I think in general, crypto games have very low traction. So we are getting those traction, like that's the primary point. And on the arcade games, I think like we are only one of the few teams which are focusing on casual gaming. So that way it makes us pretty much unique. And then on the AI side, I think like a lot of people are trying to solve trading via AI. And I would say there are almost like 10 to 15 good teams in Solana which are trying to solve, or in general in crypto as well. For example, Circuit from Fubar is like promising new upcoming product on this part. So I think in general, there are a lot of competition, competence solving trading via AI. But we have a very unique approach where we are not saying that, okay, like we'll solve all your problem using AI. What we think is like AI enables us to build a super app, and that's what we have been like hyper focused on. And that is something like that won't be coming in the next few weeks or even like few months. It would take some time, just like with a lot of things if you're building like for a large portfolio of products. So in that, like again, we don't have any competitor, but we can even say like Jupiter is a competitor because Jupiter is also an everything app. uh, and then on the mobile part, like any mobile app is like a competitor. So yeah, I think like in general as an ecosystem, we are pretty much unique. And even in smaller things, whatever we do are pretty unique. For example, even perps, we will be the first Solana native mobile perps. And then like in gaming also, like we were the first gaming FML rollup, which did like more than like we did around 8 million transactions on FML rollup. So we were one of the first teams for that. And we would be like pretty much integrating Send token as well and on the rollup. So Send becomes the gas fee for the rollup token. So that is also something that we will be one of the first Solana teams to do it. That having integrating your native token as integrating your token as a native gas fee token for ephemeral rollups. And good thing is like in ephemeral rollup, everything happens on Solana mainnet itself. It's just like few transactions are sent to a ephemeral rollup and then they're batched and sent back to Solana. So we can manage the same wallet or same accounts for all the users. So that's the coolest part of that. So that enables us to do that as well. So I think like in general, like we have very strong differentiating factors on the micro level of things, but on the team level or on the product level, obviously we have a lot of competitors. But again, on the ecosystem level, there are very few teams who are following ecosystem approach, and that makes it also very difficult for us to explain to anyone on how exactly we are building, because there are not a lot of other analogies for people to refer to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, that's like kind of a cons of it as well. People always see it as that like we are building so many things and everything is very fragmented. But I think, yeah, that's like both pros and cons of it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are a startup essentially, and we're all trying to find,
Yeah.
moonshot. Cool. Cool. Do you have anything else to share for our audience here? Just going to leave it open for you to, share your thoughts.
Yeah, I think like no, nothing to share as such. But in general, like I think the next few months would be pretty much exciting for us. Like we have a bunch of releases coming up, and in general, last 7 8 months we have spent a lot of time going back to base zero because I think December was an accidental pump for us as well. We weren't prepared for that, and we didn't even have a bigger vision back then. So it was just like okay, like we were in the AI hype and of course we had to ride the hype if we are in the hype, but last 6 7 months we focused a lot on building the team and just building all the fundamental infras which helps us to build on top of that. So I think
Mhm.
like yeah, rest of the year is pretty exciting for us, and we have like bunch of exciting announcement as well which I can't reveal right now, but I think like yeah, some big names are getting associated with Send, so pretty much excited for those announcement. And I think yeah, the next few months would be pretty much exciting, and I'm in general excited for what we are building and just waiting for it to show to the world and how exactly we have aggregated everything or whatever we have built so far. So I think
Mhm.
that's something I'm really excited about. And yeah, and it would be challenging at the same time on how we exactly do go to market. And I think like my task will increase a lot in the next few months about all the go to market
Yeah.
stuff and all. So yeah, but that's what I really enjoy. I've been missing a lot of launch action, but I think I will be finally getting all the launch action. So yeah,
Okay. Well, there's stuff to look forward to.
yeah,
Thanks, Yash. Thank you for your time. And I really appreciate you sharing kind of your perspective on the token and the project. Look forward to seeing great things and those announcements.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me, and yeah, really enjoyed the conversation. Looking forward to more of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
Okay, then see you later. Bye.
All right, guys. So that was Yash from Send AI, and I've been following their project for a while. RPS is also looking at some of their liquidity side of things to look at how we can better make manage the Send tokens, tokenomics, and um, price action. And overall, I would say that Send is definitely one of the teams that ships extremely fast. And as you can see, they have their hands in multiple different areas. And Yash is also a crazy worker. I really don't understand. One of the questions I wanted to ask him was um, like how do you actually spend your day? Because it sounds like he's everywhere, and I'm in multiple group chats with him, whether it's the Send holders, like the whales that hold Send. He's always in that chat trying to get feedback, trying to see what his holders wants, and then he's in the other chat with me talking about liquidity and market making, and then he's in another chat talking about Send announcements, and of course he has all of his work slacks and things like that. So he's everywhere all at once, all the time, which is insane, which is what a founder should be doing. So, a lot of investors will be here talking about how they believe in the founder or they want to, invest in a certain token. This is not investment advice by any means. It's just to shine a human perspective into what a founder's life could be like. And obviously, Yash is very passionate about what he's building. So there's a lot going on underneath the hood. So let me know if you guys are interested in these kind of perspective talks. I think I want to dig in a little bit further about kind of the key challenges. I don't know how comfortable founders are about sharing those types of things, because I want to dig deeper than just what they post on X, right? They're just going to talk about, hey, this is what's bullish, this is what's coming up. But I really want to dig in a little bit deeper to get the spicy, juicy stuff. So let me know what kind of suggestions or what are the questions that people might have. I think it'd be cool if we can take more of an AMA format where people who are looking to LP for the token or invest in the token ask direct questions to the founder and say, hey, what's going on here? What are you doing with XYZ? Right. And second to this, it'd be interesting to do a snapshot where we interview a founder today and then maybe in 2 weeks, 3 months time, and see what has actually occurred in the last few little bits. And go revisit and try to hold them accountable. If they talked about doing something on snapshot 1, have they actually accomplished that in snapshot 2? So those are some ideas going forward. Going through a few updates today. I know today is kind of an out of the ordinary time slot for us. Usually we do Sundays. The last 2 Sundays I missed, so I was like, okay, let's get on a call. Let's share what we've been up to. There's one announcement I wanted to make, but I can't make it right now. Similar to me as a founder, I can't share everything all at once. There is quite an exciting announcement with RPS AI, which I'm really excited about. In the next, I would say maybe next week, we can share with the community. So I'll kind of skip that for now and go into that a little bit later. With our other updates, we are the developers behind UltraLP, and that's a Solana DeFi Copilot for Meteora. So again, this is something I talk about every week. Basically, we built an app to help you manage and track your LP positions on Meteora. So if you like meme coins and want to earn meme coins, not just from buying and selling, but rather providing liquidity, check out Meteora, check out UltraLP. It'll be able to help you manage your positions and understand where your profitability is. So that's about adding, rebalancing, withdrawing liquidity at the right time to maximize profit. So if you want to learn more about that, you can actually DM me or go through our X and find out more about it. In terms of this week's updates, last week we talked about the 1400 DLMM bin upgrade. I likened it to kind of these different rake examples. So 69 bins, which is what they had before. You could only create 69 individual position slots. Now you could do 1,400. Essentially allows you to rake more profits at the same time because of how granular, how detailed it is in terms of the bins. So that's kind of their major upgrade. And in response, we've also done a few upgrades to our program. Sorry, here slides are actually out of order. Let me actually show the actual slide. Yes, here. Yeah, so we are supporting the dynamic bins now as well. So if you are already a beta access user, should already be upgraded. So if you create bins over 69, 70 to 1,400, it should show up on the UI. I know that some people have been complaining that they would see gaps in the liquidity once they create a very, very large position. And that's due to kind of issues around Jito bundles where for example, the first triangle part the transaction would succeed, but then you would have a few transactions that would fail, and then a few more that succeed. So you have a big gap in this. So just make sure that you're retrying your transactions and using a mix of priority sequences or priority fees. Second thing is we have an update this last week on this little kind of price action chart that's in the UI on the homepage, so that you can just have a glimpse and see, when were you in or out of range and where you're currently at. And finally is the position of price chart, which shows you when in the timeline of opening up that position, when you withdrew, when you claimed, not withdrew, when you added liquidity, when you claimed your fees, when you created the position itself. This will go into further when we have historical positions where you could actually see when you close that position, or you closed 1 out of 2 positions, 3 positions, and so on and so forth. I do think that with the 1,400 bins, more people are opening kind of one large position instead of multiple positions now, but that's also something we're kind of observing and seeing what people are doing. So those are kind of the updates. The upcoming updates that we have, can we announce those other upcoming updates? Probably not. And the next one we're busy working on is, of course, the historical. Still working on that. The team is grinding hard. This new update of 1,400 bins did kind of set back things a little bit for a few weeks because we had to make sure all of the updates were done, the resyncing was done. If you are a current beta tester and you see any kind of issues, please come on Discord and message me, and I'll look into that issue as much quickly as possible. And previously, this just popped up on your screen. Do token buybacks work? I'm doing a deep dive into researching about protocol token buybacks. And I know that the Sen founder, Yash, had mentioned it briefly. Do these actually work? And what are the goals of token buybacks? And so that I'm really going into this, finding different case studies, looking at the on-chain data to figure out what is the best way to conduct token buybacks, and at which time, which protocols, when, things like that. So if you have any insights, I'd love to DM you and chat more about this. I've currently been looking mostly at Radium, which has been doing all sorts of different experimentations and buybacks. I showed this chart last week, where I basically graphed, superimposed the buybacks on top of their current price action. Another thing, I have been doing token liquidity audits for various different teams. So if you are a token project on Solana that has a token in the market and you would like to better understand who your LPs are, how healthy is the token liquidity, where can it go from here, what can be improved, please contact me, and I'd love to get in touch with you and your team to do one of these. So that is all the updates that we have for this week. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'm really looking forward to bringing out more announcements from the team, and see you guys next week. Oh, next week, yes, on next Wednesday, which is August 20th, we will have the founder of Indie.Fund, which is a launchpad for indie games that have tokens associated to them. And we're going to chat a little bit about his token, Bounty, and see where we can go in there. Hopefully we can deep dive a bit more as well. So see you guys next week.